Hello everybody, this is ODST General, and today I'm bringing you Rescue Everyday Heroes. So besides this game, I wanted to talk about another, but we'll start off with this one first. So this, like I said, is Rescue Everyday Heroes. It's a firefighting and rescue RTS. It's got elements of an RPG, and it is a little bit like The Sims 2 even. So essentially there's two modes. The first of which I am in right now is the management mode in what's called the alert phase, which means that I'm essentially open up for emergencies, which one's about to get called out. And management phase, yeah, see there's the emergency right there. It's fire near the sea is what it is, and it gives you a small description of what it is. So I'm going to go and do this, and then when I get back in management mode, we'll talk about that here. So this is the dispatch screen. Get to select all your units and put all the guys in the trucks and send them out depending on what you need them for. I've already been playing this for a while before I made this video, so it's kind of starting off in the middle. So it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere it seems, but yeah, so I can put out, I believe, 8 units. Might still be 60, yeah, it's 8 at the time I made this video. And don't necessarily know fully what to expect, so I'm going to just send in several different types of units and see how things turn out here. So this game's it's fairly fun. It's got decent graphics for what it is, but it's got a lot of flaws too. One of the ones you just saw is when all the units come into the map. They don't all necessarily come into the point where you can select them all. Some of them will appear outside the map until you move your other units up. The problem is that at least on one occasion I encountered is the unit didn't move up outside the black area. I couldn't see it or select it or anything. And the game really doesn't necessarily give you any sort of instructions on necessarily advanced things, like how to rotate the screen, which I eventually figured out on my own, but the game, since it doesn't tell you how to do that, I couldn't turn the screen to find the truck, and that just blocks everything up and makes it fairly difficult. Selecting units can also be a bit of a pain too. So right now I'm trying to put out this fire here. I got one guy from a water tender. He's hooked that up, but there's a fire hydrant somewhere near here, and those have an infinite source of water, unlike the trucks, which only have a small amount. So I'm going to hook up to that and go to try to put this fire out. I can't remember if I had it out or not before that point, but as you can see, yep, see it's already out. Get that. As you can see, some of the missions are fairly easy though. So unfortunately there's no difficulty slider, but this is management mode. And in management mode you're able to hire new firefighters and EMTs, paramedics, stuff like that, and you're able to buy new trucks as you unlock them in story mode. And there's already another call. And anyways, in this mode, you're able to manage your guys, each of which has its own traits. So one might be good at mechanic, one might be able to be like a good strategist, and you're able to put them in different areas of the fire station, which will give you different bonuses. For instance, if you have couple good strategists in the command center, you can take more units out on calls. Or if you got good culinary experts in the kitchen, they'll raise morale. But you're also able to put people in the gym and lecture hall after a point, and that will give them, the lecture hall will give them new skills, and the gym will increase their athletic ability, which makes them better firefighters out in the field. It makes them a little bit faster. They use up less water when using the hose and stuff. And if you're fighting a fire without any sort of infinite source of energy, that like a fire hydrant, that can be kind of important. Like right here, and going down, this is a fairly decent sized fire for the game, but there's no fire hydrants around. But even with that, I still have I got a water tender and I got a second specialized tender with a hose on the top, which is able to basically like fight the thing with the truck, so I don't need to hook somebody up to it with a hose, and I can move it around a lot. It's got more water than a standard tender.
Yes. Understood.
But yeah, the difficulty is kind of a problem with this game, just because it's not necessarily hard enough. I only had like one mission where I had trouble with it. Also, the ants sometimes like to try and go into the fire.
Affirmative. Yes.
As you can see, I opened up the door, and then for a reason, the guy just decided he was going to bolt out towards the fire too. So, hook up to the truck, and there's a couple different hose types. Well, there's really only two main hose types. One's the hose that you hook up to the truck, and the other is your attack line. And they got a splitter here, so you can use up to three different hoses from one source. So what you can do is you can take a tender like this, and it carries two hoses, and then I've got my other truck here, and I can pull the guys from this truck and have one of them take one of the hoses and hook it up to the tender, since it's got a bigger water tank than the pumper.
Roger. Yeah.
Since I already got two hoses on there, I want to concentrate on trying to save this guy who's unconscious over here. So I'll send one paramedic over to check on his vitals, and then once his vitals are checked, I'll send this other guy over with a first aid kit to help stabilize him. And then I need to put him on the board and have somebody else help bring him over to the ambulance and return him to the hospital.
Understood.
There are several different fire trucks. I guess this game was originally a UK game, but they changed it to the US version, so you got pumper, one truck carries hoses, you got the two different types of tenders, you got two different types of ambulances, you got foam truck, you got like dry chemical truck, you got rescue and heavy rescue, you have, forget what they call it, but essentially it's a grass truck. It's a small little Humvee that's got its own hose reel on it, and it carries around a fire extinguisher too. So it's a grass truck pretty much, even though they don't call it that. And I think that's really all the vehicles there is, though, is just those. And then once you're done with those, I mean, you can pretty much get like one of every type of vehicle in the game if you wanted. But one of the problems I found is, generally speaking, they're not always useful. And I mean, as you can see in the upper right hand corner under the mini-map, if you look up there, you'll see a little thing for an ambulance and a fire truck, and what that is it'll call an independent ambulance company and a volunteer fire truck to help you out if you click those for a cost. So if you're ever really short-handed and you're worried about people dying or something, you can call backup. But I've only ever tried to use the volunteer ambulance once, and that was on the final mission, just because there was a huge amount of death in it, without going into detail to ruin it. The game also has, in addition to the story mode, it has a free mode too, which works pretty differently. It just puts you into like one city, and it'll give you a fire station and stuff, and you can put whatever firefighters or EMTs you want onto the into the vehicles, and you can put whatever vehicles you want down. I didn't see any sort of cost the one time I played it for like 10 minutes. My problem with that, though, is once again they didn't really explain how the features worked. I had a call go out and I couldn't figure out how to get my ambulance set up or anything at first. I finally managed to kind of stumble across it. So this is the ambulance going back to take the injured civilian back. All the vehicles will drive without actually having anybody in them, so you can have your paramedics out doing other stuff while the ambulance goes back by itself with its robot driver to the hospital. So the fire's out. Guy's back, so the mission's complete. So alright, we're back here in the management mode. In this mode, you can also buy furniture and stuff like that. I went back into alert phase, it seems. I just am not giving myself a chance to talk at all here about this management mode. But you're able to buy furniture, like chairs and decorations and stuff, but you're also able to buy like equipment, so you can have more people in certain areas. Like the maintenance bay will only have so many slots for firefighters, but you can put more equipment in there so you can have more guys and raise the level and eventually max out your maintenance so that you have peak maintenance, or peak command center capability, or you can put more guys in the gym depending on how many you have. And firefighters have different ranks and stuff, or so does the EMTs, and it'll raise up as they increase in rank in the gym and lecture hall. So as you can see, I got a couple guys in the gym, I got most of my guys in the maintenance bay, and I got a couple up in the command center, a couple in the lecture hall, and a couple in the kitchen. One of the things I found was that all these areas were really easy to max out. I had them maxed out before the halfway point in the really short game. It would have been nice for it to take a little bit longer, actually had slightly more effect. So we got a car accident. We're gonna send in a few units here.
Yes.
Even with a smaller thing like this, I always like to try and take a couple more units I think I might need, just in case I need a little bit of extra muscle power. As you see, though, the vehicles also don't drive super realistically. They'll just drive on whatever side of traffic, drive through vehicles.
Yes.
The sirens are automatically off, and you have to like manually turn the sirens on each independent vehicle, so it's not even really worth it to have the sirens on, because there's no point. And they get annoying. Obviously, it's not really realistic to have them on scene, so you basically have to click through each like individual vehicle when they got into the map to turn the sirens on, drive to the scene, and then click each vehicle again to turn them all off. And it would be kind of nice if you could just highlight them all, turn the sirens on, and the sirens actually have vehicles pull off to the side, and then drive up to the scene, but it doesn't work like that.
Roger. Roger.
So one of the things I feel this game is kind of lacking. It's a little bit inferior, I think, to the Emergency series. I've not played it, but I've watched a lot of videos on it, and from everything I've seen, you get essentially the same sort of experience this gives you, but on top of that, you also get, police and military units and stuff like that, and you get a whole bunch more in it. Not to mention it's supported by a bunch of mods. So, I mean, even though it's all European stuff, there's a ton of mods that basically converts the entire game into American units. The only thing that really doesn't have that this has is you can customize the units, and I think in that you don't really have the limits with the hoses like you do in this, which I think is kind of a nice feature. It makes it slightly more realistic, and it gives you something extra to manage, which I think is kind of fun. So as you can see, I've already knocked out another mission here, and it's another more money in the pocket. I haven't really spent anything since I started making this video. I haven't had to buy any new units. I just kind of let my guys all go about, and that's 3 missions out of the way. And seeing as I beat this in the course of like a day, it's kind of sad. And I will be right back, and I'll let the video play. Alright, sorry about that, guys. So as you can see, I'm kind of going through all those furniture and stuff I mentioned before, just kind of looking at stuff to add to my station. Um, Honestly, the decorations that I'm putting in aren't even really worth it. They have no effect on gameplay. I don't even think I ever saw anybody interact with any of it, maybe because they need to be on standby, but that's it's not even worth it, because then you just have to like hire on extra firefighters that you didn't need just to use that stuff. So as I mentioned, I wanted to talk about one other game while we were watching the video for this. It's not related to this at all, but something I found out about yesterday while I was reading an article on VG247, and firefighting, rescuing, it is related to saving lives, but a totally different thing. It's called Play to Cure, or Play for the Cure, or something like that. Let me check on that. And it's Play for the Cure, Genes in Space or something. But what it is it's a like a little rail shooter in space, and it's actually being used to cure cancer. It's Play to Cure. That's what it's called. Play to Cure, Genes in Space. It's a game for iOS and Android. So if you have a smartphone or if you have a tablet with that, you can play the game. And what it is they're using this to help cure cancer because the research that's being done, it has to be done by humans. A machine can't do it. But it's really all it takes is just a way to look at basically simple patterns and identify them, and, identify abnormalities in them. So they've turned this into a game by saying, look for this in the game, and once you look for it in the game, you plot a course through it with your spaceship, and then you can fly through. And basically, what this is doing is that millions or thousands or hundreds or whatever, how many people are playing this, I don't even really know at this point. However many people are playing this, it's being repeated so much that they're able to process this data a lot quicker because it's being looked at by humans, not machine algorithms. So they're basically able to say, well, all these people are selecting this area, and obviously that means the area is abnormal or whatever. We need to look at that area. And from the article that I was reading yesterday, they said in 4 weeks of this game being out, they've done 6 months of research. So that's 1 month, they've done 6 months of work, which is really crazy, especially seeing as how, from what I was reading, even though this is a UK game website, that the only thing I've really heard about this game is apparently in the UK. So I'm just thinking, if we can get as many people to play this, it would be really awesome. It's just a good thing to do. And like I said, it's a different way of saving lives. It's helping to cure cancer, essentially. It's not the first time something like this has necessarily been done. There's been other programs and stuff in the past to where basically you could devote your computer to help research things or whatever, so your computer's processing when you weren't using it would be used for helping to research something. But it's the first time it's ever really been turned into a game, and I think that's really cool. From what they were saying, it's also kind of made some people who were kind of against gaming and stuff a little bit more open to it.
Yes. Sitting out. Affirmative. Yes.
And this is actually, I think this mission ends before
Affirmative.
I actually finish it. I think I had to quit out of the game and quit recording because it essentially froze up. That was another bug I ran into, is that there would be some situations, this happened a couple times during my gameplay, when essentially my game just quit running. It was still going, but it was only going a frame a second. I couldn't figure out any sort of way to end it. It didn't matter if I put all the guys back in the trucks. I tried to quit recording. Nothing would fix it until I finally exited out.
Affirmative.
happened one other time,
Yes.
and I accidentally lost a bunch of progress, even though I had saved beforehand.
Affirmative. Yes. Roger. Yes.
But,
Roger.
yeah, so I mean, this game is decent. If you can get it for cheap, I'd say it's worth checking out, although I probably wouldn't pay full price for it if I had to go back.
Affirmative.
Free play is kind of interesting just because you don't really know what's coming at you. It doesn't necessarily escalate like this does,
Understood.
where, you know, you kind of know what to expect next. You kind of know that's gonna, you know, go up and there's gonna be a bigger fire or, you know, more guys to rescue, stuff like that. Anyway, since we've only got,
Yes.
I believe, a couple minutes left here, I'm just gonna leave you with this snippet of a song I found
Yes.
called the Firefighter's Anthem. The info will be below.
Yes.
Stop
Affirmative.
communicating. This is Engine 120. We're pulling up on scene right now. I do see flames and smoke coming out of the system 6th floor and bringing us on the roof.
You know, there's a lot of men and women out there that hear those sirens every day. They're out there every day, risking their lives to save the lives of others and protect property. And if that's what you do, then this song right here is for you. This one's for the firefighters. This one's for the firefighters. This one's for the firefighters. Firefighters. Fire. This one's for the firefighters. The backdrafters, cutting with a K-12 through the rafters. The brave hearts that live the dream. The geared up, standby, RIT team. This one's going out to all the firefighting real men, swinging that axe like a lumberjack and the hooligans with Halligans. FDNY, the 343 to die. Wildland brush fires, lighting up that sky for miles. We got everybody running out the building, but they're running in. Task force and the strike team. This one here's for all of them. Yes, sir.